Yeah, although prosecutors don't have to show a motive to get a conviction for first-degree murder, juries want to know the motive, especially when they see this clean-cut guy with no criminal background. They want to know why he did it. Now, I think it's coming into focus why he did it. He seemed to be a devotee of serial killers and crime. I mean, he studied under the BTK's autobiographer. I mean, he was so interested in true crime that it looks like he wanted to be the center of his own story.
Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies starts now.
Hello, Reporter Room investigators. Today we're talking about the Bryan Kohberger case. I believe that Maddie was the target of Bryan, and the reason that we know this is that News Nation has provided a source. He didn't specifically name Maddie, but he certainly alluded to the fact that the target was Maddie. Apparently, Bryan had photos of one of the young women on his cell phone, as reported by Yahoo. And News Nation now, Ashley Banfield, basically described the young women living at the 1122 King Road in a living situation where Bryan could easily see into the home by parking, as I've shared with you in prior videos, just behind the property in the parking lot that was for the apartments located next door. Banfield alluded to the fact that these young women were just sitting ducks. They were living in a goldfish bowl, viewed probably multiple times by Bryan as he creeped around their home. This would have given Bryan a chance to fixate on one or more of these young women. So how did Bryan enter the home, and how did he get to Maddie? I believe that Bryan would have entered the home on the second floor patio door. So he may not have been aware, if he was parked behind the property in the apartment complex parking lot, that Xana had called DoorDash. So he may not have been expecting Xana to be awake. On the other hand, if he was creeping around the property and peeping in the windows, he may have seen that Xana was up and just not cared. I'm going to talk about how Bryan got in just a second, so please stay with me. Everything I'm sharing with you is my opinion, and opinions are not facts, so please don't send any negativity to anyone, anytime, anywhere. Let's be kind to each other. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up so I know you were here. So Bryan either got in through the patio doors on the second level, or he shimmied himself up on the couch onto the third level. In fact, he may have been lying in wait for Maddie to return home. The other point of entry would have been to use the ladder that was conveniently being stored against the side of the house. And he would have encountered Xana and Ethan. We know Xana was found first in the hallway. He may have encountered her unexpectedly because she did receive that DoorDash food delivery. I would think that the noise that was made would have awoken Ethan if Ethan was not already awake. So he did away with Ethan as well before heading upstairs for his target. So the big question is, did he know that Kaylee was spending the night with Maddie? Because as you recall, Kaylee wasn't living at the residence at this time. She was moving, and she had brought her vehicle to the house so Maddie could see her brand new Range Rover. So her Range Rover and Ethan's Jeep would have been parked out in front. So it's debatable as to whether Bryan knew they were spending the night or whether that was just another surprise along with the DoorDash delivery. So Bryan would have entered the home. He would have done away with Xana and Ethan before heading up the stairs for his target, who was Maddie. Maddie was asleep, and so he would have surprised both Maddie and Kaylee. Now, another theory that I've seen floating around is that Bryan was already in the house when Maddie and Kaylee came home, possibly hiding somewhere in the house, and was maybe even under their bed. But the fact that Maddie and Kaylee were both asleep in the same room probably would have been a surprise to him if he had been surveilling the house for a period of time because they didn't normally sleep in the same room together. Kaylee had her own room, but on this night she did not have sheets for her bed because she was in the process of moving. So Bryan would have encountered 2 women and not one. And I think at this point when Bryan entered the room, or when he was hiding on the premises, he was already very focused on what he was going to do, and there was not anything that was going to stop him from getting between him and his target. In my opinion, Kaylee came in between Bryan and his target, who was Maddie. And this is why he went after Kaylee in such a brutal fashion, as we've learned from Kaylee's dad, Steve, in prior interviews. And then Bryan got to target Maddie. He did away with her, and I'm watching my words here. And at this point, Bryan would have felt elation at what he had just done. He was probably in a hurry to get out of the house, and in my opinion, he never saw Dylan due to his visual snow. And if you've ever lived in a situation where you've had upstairs and downstairs, and you've had upstairs neighbors, or maybe you've had a 2-story house, you know that the sound carries from the upper floor to the lower floor more so than the lower floor to the upper floor. So although Dylan may have called out and told her roommates to be quiet, Bryan would probably not have heard her. He exited the house quickly, got in his car, and drove away. The search warrant was released this week, and it shows that it was for Bryan's house in Albright, Pennsylvania. So this newly unsealed search warrant details out what Bryan had at his parents' home on December 30th. So according to the search warrant, law enforcement found a flashlight, medical-style gloves, a t-shirt, a Washington State Cougars sweatshirt, a pair of size 19 Nike shoes, and this may be significant in light of the footprint that was recovered, black shorts, black socks, black boxers, and they also got a cheek swab. And I'm going to assume from reading all of this that this would have come from Bryan. This cheek swab would be instrumental in linking Bryan to the DNA that detectives allegedly found inside the knife sheath, which was left on the bed where Kaylee and Maddie were found. Now, I believe this knife sheath was left behind intentionally, although it's possible it was knocked off. My understanding is that the only place that they found blood was on the snap, so that leads me to believe that Bryan placed it there intentionally and then placed his knife into another container on his way out. Ultimately, I believe that he intentionally left the knife sheath behind. He outsmarted himself by accidentally leaving his own DNA that would ultimately lead to his arrest in this case. So he would have had another bag to place the knife into, and I believe he would have taken the knife itself away as a souvenir. Please subscribe